I think that's the same people that are still obsessed with COVID. They moved it to something else. And then they moved it to COVID, which was like this undeniable wet blanket of escapism. Because you could get, you could all get mad and then blame it on other people.
Yeah.
Fucking over that too.
Yeah.
I'm so over it.
Yeah, it's interesting seeing even people that were like hardcore vaccine advocates that are now saying if they had known that it didn't stop transmission, it didn't stop infection, and it, it only lasted X amount of months, they wouldn't have done it.
Sure.
And that they really weren't at the same risk level that they thought they were at when all that shit was being forced on people. Now the CDC's recommending it for kids.
Oh, it's so stupid.
Like putting as far as like the kids' vaccine schedule.
Right. Well, that's because that's that liability thing. Do you know about that? Like the reason that they got that approval is so it like covers their asses for some long game liability if there's side effects to it. I'm kind of butchering that, but there's some legalized upside to them making it a a recommended vaccine for children, along with polio or tetanus. It's really fucked up. Where was I listening to that? I think it was No Agenda. Yeah.
That sounds like No Agenda. Sounds like.
But I just butchered it, so sorry, guys.
Adam's the man.
Yeah, they're both great.
Yeah, I love that dude. It's probably part of it. There's probably some sort of legal reason why they're doing it.
I'm just I think it's interesting, now that there's this amnesty thing with COVID, like trying to just be like, let's just all say we're sorry. And, like people had to watch their dying loved ones pass on their iPhones and shit. And like, I'm not like, I don't know. I was already over it. Like my industry, like I'm not vaccinated. So I got, I lost tours. I had like a good deal of momentum that was taken out of my last record, which really sucked. But I'm really glad I made the choice I did. And, nobody's like knocking on my door to apologize or anything. Not that I need it.
Well, it was just a weird time.
Yeah.
There's so many people that had such a high level of anxiety already. And then COVID came along, and that was just overwhelming for them to deal with this existential threat that you can't control, that's everywhere, and it's invisible. I mean, it had all the elements that you needed to really freak people out that were already afraid. And some people just aren't that resilient.
No, they're not. You really can see that now.
Yeah.
I feel like I lost a lot of good guys out there.
Not really. I don't think you did.
But
the people that you lost from that, it's like, come on.
Well, at this point, I'm amazed at the like snowball of fear and the way people were so easily controlled. And then you throw in your like freedom of speech, and now you can't say it, you can't talk about it, you can't talk about this or this without people going nuclear on you and like getting a whole gang of maniacs who disagree. It's like, why can't you just disagree?
Yeah.
Like it's pretty, it's pretty, Orwellian. And also, I've been reading a lot of Greek mythology lately, and it's just like a Greek tragedy, like the madness of the gods, and then like, COVID kind of became this god that made people nuts, this like invisible
like
force.
A curse.
Yeah, that created a cult following.
It also exposed a serious problem that people have with their own personal health. So many people just don't take care of themselves, and those are the people that were the most stressed out because they had the most to lose. They were the most at fear.
Sure.
Because they've been spending so much time eating shitty food and living a sedentary lifestyle with a very vulnerable immune system. So something came along like this, and they wanted everyone to protect them.
Right.
And that's part of what it was. It's like, you're going to get me fucked up. It's like that was the threat. People like, wear your fucking mask, like all that shit.
It's really strange. Like people I've known for years and years and years, like lost their fucking minds.
Yeah. It's good.
Yeah.
It's good. It is.
Suffering?
it's good to know who can keep it together.
Right.
It's good. I appreciate those moments of clarity.
Yeah.
Because you know, and it's also good to see people lose their fucking minds and then regain them. And go, yeah, you know, I was a little out of line there.
Sure.
You know, and just realize that.
Oh yeah, well,
got
good.
caught
Be
up in it.
accountable. That's great.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of that.
Yeah.
You know, that's the way through. The other stuff I cannot hang with.
I just wish people would like recognize, like en masse, that this is a real issue with personal health, and you should take care of yourself. You should exercise regularly. You should take vitamins. You should eat well. Eat good food.
Well, there's a whole,
water.
you know, there's a whole agenda, you know, anti-health. Like if you go to the gym and you're into eating well or eating carnivore, you must be a racist Republican. You know, like there's a whole identity attached to it. Yeah.
If you work out, you must be a Republican.
Yeah, there's all kinds of like it's this.
Seems silly.
Oh, it's very silly.
It's just
very
an excuse
silly.
for not taking.
You got to
care
let
of
yourself go.
Oh, you should.
In order to prove your, you know, your dedication to doing the right thing.
How does that make any sense? I get the whole body positivity thing. Like, you should be happy with your body. Yeah, you should be happy, but you also should take care of yourself. It's like better. It's like fundamentally better, undeniably better.
Sure.
Take care of yourself. You're more resilient.
Yeah.
And if you did take care of yourself and you went into this thing healthy, you were less threatened. You know,
yeah.
That's something we found out. It's like that probably applies to most things, kids. You know? Except like the Spanish.
Absolutely. Well, and just, yeah, your overall mental health.
I think the Spanish flu was actually worse if you were healthy.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Ooh,
yeah, the Spanish flu was a weird
that.
one. I think the Spanish flu primarily attacked people that were young. Like, it did something to your immune system. Like, if your immune system was young and strong, like, it actually fought against your immune system. We got lucky with this one. This one was lucky because it actually favored people that were healthy, and including children. It favored people that were young and resilient, and really fucked people up that were overweight more than anything. People that were fat. You know, there was a thing about COVID, the way it interacts with fat. It actually replicates in fat. So, like, people with fat got a higher dose. It was
really?
A higher viral load. Figure out what that was, Jamie. Like, something about being obese uniquely targeted people for COVID. It's something about this particular virus, the way it affected obese people, which is like 78% at one point in time of the people in the ICU, they were obese.
Right.
Which is wild.
Right.
But yet, we live in this world where you're not supposed to talk about people being fat as being a real problem.